to today's Moonday Live. Moonday Vibes, Moonday Live. My name's Fola. Nice to see you. Hi, Meredith. All the people tuning in, wherever you are tuning in from. I'm going to share a bit today about lucid dreams, some things I've been learning about lucid dreaming, about astral travel, about what that looks like for you, kind of tuning into it in your own life, your own world, because it can be a very powerful practice. And I also wanted to talk a bit about some experiences I've been having, some insights I've been having around, like, after a cosmic acupuncture. That's what it needs to be called, cosmetic acupuncture. And feelings, all these words, these ideas that have been kind of showing up in my life this past week, and just to hear how things are going for you all. I'm curious. You've stepped into this like new year portal time. I'm seeing so many things about fires. Someone in just a group chat just posted how they had to like evacuate a building last night. There was a fire, a lot of people's fire alarms going off. So I don't know how the fire horse has been showing up for you. I look down and I see a little thing of fire here. That's funny. There's movement happening. So let me know, how have you been keeping with all this? Is it getting a little too hot for you? What are you doing to kind of navigate some of that stuff? We're going to tune in here together before we start this conversation. And just really want to invite you to have an open heart, an open mind, as always, as we call your guides, your ancestors, and those beings that wish to support you, to just make the messages clear, what needs to be heard, what needs to be seen, that you may find that for yourself, whether it's here in this like live conversation or if it's throughout the rest of your week this week. So just thank those guides for being here. Yeah. Meredith says we have no water for days. Okay. I held a sound bath this week. Sorry to hear that, by the way. The pipes have rotted. Can't put out the fires. Oh dear. That's like just your building has no water. But like the reason I'm saying that is I was hosting a sound bath this weekend, and when I got there, I was going to make tea for the people attending, and there was no water coming out of the pipes. And I was like, oh, and then like a plumber showed up right before we were about to start, but and he was like, oh, I just have to go and do the thing, and he was fixing it. And I found that fascinating because then someone comes in, they're talking about fire alarms going off, the water's not running. Then there was like this snowblower outside just blasting air. And I was like, wow, the elements, they show up and they want to teach us things. So whatever that might be for you, Meredith, I'd be curious if you were to sit with that. What does it mean to have no water, right? What does it mean, that life, that great mother, that emotionality? And I feel like this might be a great place to start us off with this concept of feelings. So what has kind of been showing up in my world, tying all these pieces together, was this idea of feeling. And, we can talk about feeling and emotionality. There's the feeling and the body sensations. And as someone myself I would definitely say I like pick up information through the sense of feeling. It's like either a knowing, like I just like know things, or it's a body sensation. Like it could be tingling. It could be like bubbliness. It can be like a warmth or a coolness. These are some of the ways I would say I've developed my like psychic or clairvoyant or clairsentient, I guess, knowing. And this concept of feeling can really be such a powerful influencer in our life. So if you are looking to lucid dream, astral travel, or project, create more manifestations that actually like hit, the concept I'm understanding in this last week is it's the importance of feeling. I was listening to something someone sent me about from Neville Goddard. I think it's the book is called um, The Secret is Feeling, or like something like this. Someone might know what it is. And this concept of feeling kind of being this idea that in order to manifest or create your reality in the way that you would like to see it happen, so maybe you want to manifest a new relationship or a job, or, I say these things like these are very superficial sometimes, but it's usually what people want to create in their life. They're not happy with how things are going. And so they want to have some change. But what he's saying is in order to like make that stuff happen, you need to have feeling. There needs to be like a felt sense inside in the visualization process, in the magic process, the ritual or manifesting process, in order for you to actually create it. And he goes on to talk about, and this is where maybe water comes in, the concept of feeling is very much like a subconscious moon, watery mother energy. So there's our conscious sun, kind of like solar perspective of awareness. It's like the forefront. In the Kabbalistic tradition, we would say it's Resh, the front of the head or the head. And then we have the subconscious back of the head. That's Kof, the moon, Kof, the letter in the Hebrew. And this is like that feminine energy. And so there's this blending of masculine and feminine, the yang and yin, right? This like light and dark concepts, the conscious thought, and then the feeling. The feeling, it goes deep inside. You get to really kind of like have a better understanding about yourself when you can feel things. And how many of people, I guess, how many of you, I know me many years back, couldn't even really feel the things in my body. And when I went for this acupuncture, I could like feel the needles going in more on my left side, which I guess is associated with the yang side. As soon as I like felt the needle go in, and I had this visceral response and like memory of things related to childhood and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, I can see how this is linked here. But the practitioner was just like, yeah, a lot of people don't even feel the needles going in. And that's not like a shaming or anything, but it's about awakening the ability to sense or to feel the things, feel with your body. I personally believe this is where like magic and somatic practices, all this consciousness stuff that like I talk about on the channel, and you probably see a lot of if you're here. This is the sort of thing that is going to like, yeah, feeling is going to help you to really like develop into more like of a higher state of consciousness and to evolve on the path. And magic and things help us to feel more, to become more aware. If someone were to touch you on a hand, like, or if you were to touch yourself, could you feel that? And then, you can feel it on your body. Like I can feel right now my hands touching my other hand. But if I were to go deeper, it's like, well, it honestly feels as though there's a little bit of a gap through certain points, maybe where the joints are of the fingers. It feels way cooler on the like finger pads than it does. And I can feel like the coolness kind of going up here too. I'm very cold today, by the way. I was so hot last night. Now I'm like, ugh, winter. But anyway. But this development of like sensing and being able to tell what you're feeling, and I'm talking in this case like a body sensation feeling, this can take time, but you will develop it the more you do it. Whereas, if you might not feel anything, it's like, oh, you could be numb in certain parts. You may be completely detached from feeling into parts of your body, let alone being able to feel energy when you're going through visualization to create something in your world. Okay. Hello, Melina. Hello. Hello, Harrison. Mango. I like mangoes. Anyway, so there is this idea of feeling that is important. Different teachers have talked about it. I took this lucid dreaming class the other week, and this was a huge part of the learning or the teaching. And so to hear then this like Neville Goddard audiobook just yesterday, where I'm like, whoa, okay, there's something here that can really help develop a higher state of consciousness, thus developing a better state of being able to lucid dream. Lucid dream meaning you become aware that you're dreaming and can start to like almost take control of the dream in the sleeping dream state. There's also the importance of being aware in the awake dream, which is what you're most likely experiencing right now if you're here watching this. Us gaining awareness so that we can then take these next steps into creating our life. And I've just really been thinking of the idea of experimentation. And a lot of people, maybe you aren't feeling like you want to explore any of this stuff, and that's fine. But I think it's important for you to recognize that this life is about evolution or evolving and raising your consciousness, accessing different parts of your consciousness, so that then you can start to gain mastery in your life. Not be an enslaved individual who just is, clocking in and out day to day, not really feeling like you're achieving anything. If you're here, you're most likely feeling the call to experience more. So how can you, tuning into feeling that awareness of what you are sensing, feeling in your body, in the energetics of yourself, anytime you are visualizing something or when you're just experiencing something, how can that contribute to you and this evolution that I'm talking about, and to you gaining this level of mastery in your world? For me, I've done a lot of learning and developing my skills through personal development and, just curiosity and education of all sorts of different spiritual topics. And the one thing I'm realizing in the last couple weeks is that never really ends. It's important, I think, to take breaks from learning. I've shared about this before, taking a year off from taking any classes, anything like that, because I think many people are over committing to learning things instead of taking action and doing or actually putting that information to use. But there comes a time where you need to gain the mastery of your life, the mastery of the skills that you feel called to. And yeah, a lot of that is taking practice, and some of that is gaining the mastery through more advanced teachings. There's only so many new moon rituals you can do, and then you need to take it deeper. Okay, that's my personal view. And this concept to me, the fire horse, Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, all this stuff to me is like a new beginning, and it's about taking it deep. Deep, 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 deeper than maybe you thought you would have liked to, deeper than you thought maybe it was even possible to. But this, I think, when we talk about feelings and mastery now, this combination of the two, what does it look like for you to master your feelings, to master what, and how do I want to word this? The relation is between what you're feeling and what you know, or what you're feeling and what the experience is going to be that plays out in your world. Can you start to feel everything? Even what the teacher last week said is feel the silence. I'll leave that for you to explore what that might mean, what that might look like. But how can we feel more of this life, these experiences we go through with intentionality, so that we can become the masters of our reality? I feel like I should put that on a shirt or something. So for me, there's been a lot of curiosity around the lucid dreaming, the traveling in the astral realm, becoming this next level, or embodying this next level of awareness, that I feel like it's just the beginning of something new. maybe you're feeling the same way. If that's the case, hit subscribe, continue following. This might be a place for you. But also for you to gain mastery in your life, mastery so that you can start to bring like your gifts, your abilities out into the world, because you are here to be of service as well to people. And that service can look very different for everyone. That doesn't mean you have to be a healer or go and like do all this stuff and host a bunch of groups and shit like that. But what I think it means is that we have to be the energy of like consciousness and awareness and love. And I was listening to this like Zen talk this morning. I think it was a Zen talk. I don't know. I was listening to a few different things. And the teacher was kind of just talking about the difference between the ocean and the other contents of the ocean. Sorry. And this idea that the ocean is filled, right, with fish and kelp and all these like rocks, all the stuff. But the ocean is like really like the water, right? And you could think of that as like the consciousness. But then there's also those little like other material parts that are in the ocean, and those are like the ocean contains these things. Those are the contents, but they are not actually the ocean. They aren't actually like the consciousness of that, even though I would say everything's connected. But that really hit home for me, because it's like, so if you are someone who maybe wants to step into creating things or putting out certain content or ideas and host events or whatever the case might be, even like if you're working like a desk job and you're creating like documents and putting it out there, maybe you sometimes feel this like disconnection or anxiety of if it's good enough, or how is that as a part of yourself. But it's like those aren't really part of you. Yes, maybe you worked on it, maybe you created the thing, but it's content. It's not really the consciousness of the entire ocean of you. And so when I heard this, I was like, oh, that just feels so much more lighter. Like, how can we just be this energy of love, or just be this energy of like awareness, so that we can continue to create and share that love out, but not be like almost blocking ourselves because we're overly concerned about the things we're making. Maybe some of you need to hear this, because I know there's so many folks feeling the call to create, maybe even on YouTube or Insight Timer or on Instagram, whatever medium you're feeling called, but there's like blocks there for some of you. So whatever that might be for you, can you just feel into that ocean of yourself? And I'll invite you right here maybe to just, if you can, just become aware. Maybe you close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so and you're not driving or doing anything like that. And to just become aware of your body, your breath, the ocean that is you. And notice however the waves of you are moving. If it's still, if it's maybe moving rapidly because you've had a busy day. Not judging, just noticing. And then noticing how far you kind of reach out. Like, what span is your energy immersed into? Is it just the physical container of your body? Is it moving beyond, maybe into your auric energy field a few feet around you? Maybe it's filling into the whole space of the room or the city that you're in. But notice how it's like expanding out, and it's coming into contact with the chair, with the desk, with your phone, with whatever other objects might be in the space around you. And just recognize that those parts aren't really you, though you might be coming into contact with them. They just exist there within the consciousness of you. You is the ocean. And begin to just feel whatever that is, however it's showing up for you, and the sensation of feeling. For me, I can feel this like widening in the rib cage. It's almost like more spaciousness. And now just feel the silence. When you tune into the silence, just let it begin to bring out a feeling inside of you. Now bringing your awareness back into your physical body, into your breath, inhaling and exhaling out of your lungs, from the beating of your heart in your chest. And whenever you're ready, you can return back to the space with open eyes. So you can let me know in the comments if you'd like what you experienced there, what showed up, what was difficult, what was easy. So what are some ways that you can start to bring feeling into your world? I think of one of my teachers talking about the sort of dynamic of pain and pleasure and how those two are kind of on a continuum, but there's this gap between them. You know, pain's here, pleasure's here. And it's easy to jump over one to the other, because they kind of are the same thing. I think this is where we get into the world of the kinks and BDSM and all that stuff, where some people's literally neural pathways could be cross-wired or wired differently, where pain brings more pleasure and vice versa. But this idea of a little bit of pain, I'm realizing how we can be so coddled as a society that I'm referring this to the acupuncture, where it's oh, I don't want to get poked even just a little bit, even though at the other side of it, there's going to be a pleasure, a relaxation, something good and juicy inside. So whatever that looks like for you, how can you bring a bit of this openness to all of life? That life may not all be happy and pleasurable and good, that you can also feel into the pain, feel into the difficulty, feel into the discomfort, so that you can start to create your reality. And I'm going to share a bit of that manifestation technique I think I've talked about here before. I just want to look at the comments first. I think Meredith, you wrote here, I love the expanded space in the rib cage cue. Cool. Yeah. Maybe I was oh, I feel like this is a collective thing even. I could feel that, but how can we all open? And it kind of ties to me to the acupuncture, because That idea when I got this, it was cosmetic acupuncture though. There were more needles everywhere else in my body. And like, I didn't really go for that. I was just like, oh, I've never tried this. It's someone I know. I'm like, let's give it a go. And she put one like here, she put some in my like jaw, because I could definitely sense my jaw gets tight. And within like, well, I don't know how long I was laying there, but maybe like 5 to 10 minutes before she came back into the room, to check on me, take the things out, I felt my face drop. Like it just literally, the tension that I didn't even really know I was experiencing just went, whoa. And I was like, oh my God, did I have like a stroke or something? My mind goes to crazy things sometimes. And then it was like, oh my gosh, like this is relaxation in my face. So needing to go into the pain or the discomfort of having needles in my face to not even knowing I was in pain and discomfort or tightness. And then on the other side of it was this like, and yeah, for the rest of the day, even still today, but definitely yesterday, I would say I was like, oh my gosh, does my face look different? Like what looks different? What's going on here? It just felt completely in like a new reality. But back to my like manifesting technique, that idea of creating something that you would like to see happen and maybe tying in both the pleasure and the pain, the feeling. So I really enjoy sharing this because to me, this is like a big win, even though I'm not a Taylor Swift fan at all. So going to see Taylor Swift's not that like interesting to me. So that probably really helped to not have any expectations, not have any attachment to the end goal. But I ended up like getting these tickets to see Taylor Swift, all expenses paid trip for my kid and I. And really it was for her, but it took action on my part, and I did visualize. I was using these like manifestation techniques to see how I can make things sort of like play out. But the main thing I want to touch on here is the idea of manifesting by tuning into a difficult energy. I think we so often think, oh, the thing I want or the thing I desire, and this is what would be so great about it, and this is what I'm seeing with it. Oh, it's so wonderful. But what I did in this situation is there were times when I was visualizing winning this prize or going to Vancouver to see Taylor Swift, like what, I don't even know her song, so I couldn't like imagine hearing what I would hear. But this one time I remember very clearly being like in the arena space where the show was going to be and feeling all the people bumping up against me because I knew there was going to be like way too many people. And that I feel like was the key for me to create winning it, because it just felt like so uncomfortable and like something that I actually really hate. And there was also this mixture of like excitement with knowing, oh, like I'm in this situation, I'm being bumped and touched by like strangers, and my kid's going to be happy. I'm with her. We're like having a good time and we're about to see this like huge show. There's like such a mix of feeling and emotion and like energy. And to me, I feel like that was a thing. So maybe someone here needs to hear that. If you are in the process of like manifesting something big in your life or something small, how can you maybe play with this idea and bring in like, okay, what's something that you're really like not looking forward to with having that end result? If it's like a new job, is it like your promotion? Like there's certain roles that maybe it involves something else that you're going to have to do that you don't want to do. Can you envision that? And it's not about envisioning it to judge it. It's about envisioning it to bring it into reality, like to just allow yourself to feel and experience it. Because it's in that feeling that then it enters into the subconscious mind, and that's how we create. The subconscious needs to have the things. I think that's why like new moon rituals, full moon rituals are so big. The moon tied to the back of the head, tied to the subconscious. You shift that energy with the moon in relation to it Then you're going to be able to bring it into the forefront, bring it into your awareness in time. But you can't usually just do it once. It has to be repetitive, right? This is why affirmations and mantras and all the things help, because it's like you're imprinting this code into your subconscious brain, subconscious mind, and then it starts to come forward in your like daily life. And this can work in your favor, and it can also work in not your favor. So what are all the things you're watching or absorbing? Are you having conversations that are really negative all the time? If that's the case, you're going to be imprinting these beliefs and ideas into the back of your subconscious mind. For me, this is why I've had to create some healthy boundaries from certain people, because I started to realize, like, every time I hang with this person, they say certain thing. And I'm like, I've been holding that as like a belief of myself or a belief of my existence, my world, because of this individual. And that can be hard. What was the thing I just put? I'm going to read it. Oh, my phone's there. I can't look at my phone. So I'm going to just open it here. Bear with me. This quote from Mitch Horowitz, which I shared as a post the other day and just really, really resonated with me. And I mean, it's Mitch Horowitz. He's cool. So he says, "It is vital, first and foremost, to physically separate from cruel, bullying, or depleting people. No amount of self-acceptance, acceptance of others, or verbal skill will build immunity to a relative, parent, boss, coworker, or friend who makes sport of running you down or who chronically directs subtle barbs at you." Plain and simple. You don't need to be around those people. Physically separate yourself. There's no self-acceptance, acceptance of others, compassion, verbal, like, what is that shit that, like, crisis management and like healthy communication styles that you need to learn? No, because it takes two to tango. You can do as much as you want, but like if the other person's not putting in their effort, why would you still hang around that person? So whoever needs to hear that conversation. The beauty treatment work, Meredith says. Nice. I like that. So with that being said, I just really hope you know that you can create this life you want. And no matter what you've been going through, no matter what struggles, anxiety, the pressures from society, depression, there are things that you can do to take an active role and to gain mastery in your life. And this is a place to do that. If you want to be part of that evolution of humanity and of yourself, hit subscribe, join on. There'll be more things coming up as soon as I get my computer allowing me to create another video, because apparently I need an external hard drive. This is what happens with content creation, you guys. There's so much stuff. So I'm hoping to release a video either tomorrow or just on Thursday. That's going to be a support for you. Hi, Red Star. Hello, hello. What's up? We're talking about all the things. So what else do I want to talk about here? I feel like I've covered everything. What time is it? 33 minutes. 33. Yeah, I feel like there's just so much that we can still be exploring on this concept or this topic. And my hope is to share more on things as I experience them and to just really be that ocean of consciousness that I am, just like you are. That the content that I'm putting out there, it shifts and there's so many varieties of it and different methods of it. But the underlying essence that's coming out is like the essence of me, the essence of where I'm at in my evolutionary journey as I go through my own mastery of my life, knowing myself, mastering myself, tuning into the aspects of my divinity. This is really why we're all here. And with that being said, I'm just really exploring how it is I want to show up, what the need is. I I was talking to my partner text. I'm like, oh, I still sometimes get so confused around how I'm meant to show up. And so me naming this just really helps me, and I hope can help you too, because I get people reaching out to me who seem to have a really specific set of issues or concerns that are tied to my past with, like, as a psych nurse, as being able to support people in crisis and support people when, things can get really shitty. Um, I guess I just have like a heart and a space for that, ability to hold that and support people in it. And yeah, it's like doing that while still maintaining my own individuality, my own boundaries in a healthy way, but also tying in the things that I actually think will help. Because, I don't think the conventional healthcare system is really a solution for most people. Some, yes, but not all. If you're a spiritual being and you're experiencing other things going on in your life, there can be some reprieve from those challenges. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be like 100% healed or cure yourself because of some whatever diagnoses you have. Like, whatever experiences you've had in life. I don't think that this life again is meant to be all like roses and rainbows and sunshine or whatever. It's about that like pain and pleasure duality and walking the fine line of the middle path, the place where you can be an experience of both that light and shadow, the pain and the pleasure, the happiness and the sadness or grief, while not letting it throw you so off that you like just, spiral into nothingness. Unless that's maybe your path too. Who are we to say what people are supposed to experience in this lifetime? And that can be hard because, a lot of these people, they have really difficult life experiences. I know these people. You probably know these people too. And they're great teachers for all of us. And it sucks because we just, I think, especially within the spiritual communities, it's like, oh, just make everything be okay. Everyone healed, everyone happy. But it's like, that's not the reality of this human world, because the growth actually happens when there's difficulty. And then we go into that place of, oh, but it's not even about the joy. It's more about the like peace and like stillness again. That can be, I think, that's the place we're meant to be. That to me is that middle path. It's not like super happy. It's not super sad. It just is. So feeling into all this, I feel like I've talked about a lot of things here. Maybe not even as much as you hoped I would about lucid states and that. I am going to be creating that school account. I feel like this is a thing. I don't know. There's like a major resistance for me. Maybe it's just a time thing. Having a space where people can come and have more connection than I feel like YouTube can provide in terms of the membership. And it'll be way more learning, way more like engagement and like content that is very specific to particular needs that I feel like I just can't really get YouTube to organize that in the way that I would like and to make it digestible for all of you. So keep an eye out for that when I create that post with the link. And I'm going to see what that looks like, because I feel like there's many of you that have been here since the beginning. And I just really want to say, well, I say beginning, but you've been here for a while. You know who you are, people. And I want to have that as an open door for you as well. Without feeling like there's like a financial burden with it. So I'm going to figure out some way to make that a thing. Once I sign up or actually open the group. It's funny because I talk about not having clarity sometimes, or I just feel confused. And this is how I felt for that like 40 days of a ritual I did at the start of the year, where I had this goal in mind and I thought I knew how it was going to be. and I was going for it. And then by the end, I'm like, this isn't how I thought it was going to be. That how come none of the things I wanted it to look like are manifesting? But meanwhile, over here, I'm like hosting sound baths and putting this thing, and people are booking Reiki classes, and I'm like, okay, it's bringing a whole other concept to me of do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt, capital THOU. And I'm not interpreting for any of you. I'm interpreting for myself, just sharing the insights I've been having, where it's like God's will, the divine will, and the true will. Like, where is that fine line when this infinity loop system of like, left path, right path, middle pillar concept. So I'm just naming that because I'm definitely tuning in more to what that could freaking mean. So, oh, hello, Stephen. Hello. Clarity can also mean honestly confronting and embracing ambiguity and absurdity. Okay, let me read this again. Clarity can mean to confront and embrace your ambiguousness and the absurdness that exists. That's how I'm reading it in my head. Thank you. Because, yeah, I think it comes a point where we just have to be so freaking raw and honest with ourselves and with others, I guess, too, but most importantly with self. Thank you for that. Clarity doesn't mean everything makes sense. Oh my God. It's kind of like a psychedelic trip, I don't know if you've experienced that, or, I don't know if share anything, but I just think of like all the journeys I've done or the experiences I've had where it's like, oh yeah, like this totally makes sense. It's clear, but like within the muck of it all. Isn't that kind of like the lotus in the mud, right? This beautiful flower can come from like the muck of everything. But such is life. Such is life. So let's wrap up here. Close the space. Anything you need me to say, Spirit? I don't think so. So, yeah, I just want to thank you all for being here, sharing as much as or as little as you were, just your energy being in this space. So many things happening, and you may hear more from me at points. You may hear less from me at points. This is just me going with the flow, as we all, I think, are being asked to feel into what is right or true for our individual selves, while still being of service to humanity, to the world around us. I'm just going to ask those guides, those angels, your ancestors to walk this path with you, to illuminate the path before you, to protect you from behind, from any of those people, those barbs and hooks that like want to attach and just keep you distracted from having that clarity of being honest with yourself, being your true self, and just really recognizing the power that you have inside, that you do create your reality and that you can be the master of your reality. So just thank those guides, thank those ancestors, those angels. You take a deep breath in and let it go. Yeah. Appreciate you all being here, and I guess I'll see you all very soon. Okay, take care.